Okay, hi BookTube, Aaron here, hope you're doing okay. Thought I'd carry on with this bookshelf tour that I've been doing. And last time I went through the Penguin Black Classics here, and I thought I'd go through some of the books that are sprinkled throughout here that aren't actually Penguin Black Classics, they've just been thrown in there because they have black spines. And then I'll go on and do some other books, probably some Oxford World Classics, just to fill things up a bit. And so let's get straight into it. So first up, we've got Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. I think this is my favourite Bronte book, and I think Emily is my favourite Bronte sister. And it's high time I revisited this, and I've got lurking around here, we'll get to eventually, another edition that, although for the thing with Wordsworth classics is that they are cheap and they're readily available kind of all over the place, so they're super handy. Although I've always found that the font isn't too bad. It is a little on the small side, but also sometimes the covers are just a bit hit and miss. So this is a hit. I think this is a great cover, but it can be hit and miss sometimes. And staying in Bronte land for a second, we've got some Anne Bronte. They really should be the other way around, but with it being alphabetical. But we've got Agnes Grey. I haven't read this. It looks like my wife has started it, and nothing really to say. I haven't read the book, so I'm not sure how this cover kind of relates to the story, but I put this more on the miss side, not so much of a hit for a Wordsworth classic. Moving through, next up is another Wordsworth edition. This is Dubliners by James Joyce. I think it's quite a nice cover, actually. I think I find that the Wordsworths on the whole that I don't like, I tend to get rid of. So there's a high chance if there's a Wordsworth that's still here, it's probably because I like the edition and I bought then the book in an edition I preferred the look of. So yeah, I quite like this, and I'm hoping to revisit it this December. Okay, moving through, just at the end here then, we have this is The Importance of Being Earnest. It looks like this was potentially when a production was being put on, maybe this was the sort of some of the merch potentially, it looks like. But yeah, love Oscar Wilde, and I'd actually love to have more Oscar Wilde in my library. There's not too much there. I downloaded his sort of selected poems onto my Kindle recently, which has been great. But yeah, should have some more Oscar Wilde lying around. Then onto some Jane Austen. For Jane Austen July, we've got Persuasion, which is my favourite Jane Austen novel. It just has this kind of depth to it that I just really love, and I don't want to be too down on the trailer for the new Persuasion adaptation, but it's looking like that depth isn't going to be there, and they've I won't get into it, but I think it's going to be missing the things I love about Persuasion. The next up, another book I really love. It's Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. As much as I really enjoy Jane Austen, I think Thomas Hardy and Jane Austen are sort of two poles of writing, and where but both of them can describe things, and both of them can go into depth into human relationships. I feel like Jane Austen is more on the human relationships side, and then Thomas Hardy is really on the description and on painting this really vivid picture and then putting the drama into that picture. And that's what I love about Thomas Hardy. Some people, I think, find that he just goes on too much and the descriptions are too long, and he should just get to the point. But I can really live inside a Thomas Hardy novel, and I'm ashamed to say it's the only Thomas Hardy novel that I've read, although I've got some more kicking around here that I want to get to soon. And then the last of these books that have been thrown in here with the Penguin Classics, this is one I don't know about, or don't know that much about. It's something my wife picked up, and it's, and I just dropped. She picked it up, I dropped it. It's A Girl of the Limberlost by Jean Stratton Porter, and I don't really know much about this at all. If anyone knows anything about it, feel free to let me know. And that's it for the books up here, so that's that first sweep done. But just to fill things out a bit, we've got some Oxford World Classics here, so I think I'll move on to those for the rest of this video. So first up, a book that came up recently. I'm trying to remember the video it was in. I think it came up as a counterpoint in my top 5 English novels video, and it's Edward Bellamy's Looking Backward, 2000 to 1887, and it's a utopian, utopian novel looking into this futuristic, very sort of mechanised society. Then we've got Wilkie Collins. This is Poor Miss Finch. My wife just read this, said it was very good, but this is probably the one Wilkie Collins that we have lying around that I haven't read yet. And then next up, another book that I really want to get to soon. This is The Heart of Darkness and Other Tales by Joseph Conrad. I put him down as one of my top 5 English authors, even though he's from Poland. Then some Charles Dickens, Great Expectations. There's a little tug of war in my heart going on as to whether Great Expectations is my favourite Dickens novel or whether it's Bleak House. I'm still, the jury's out, or the battle's still being fought, but I really love that book. And then some George Eliot. I've never actually read any George Eliot, but this is Daniel Deronda. I've seen an adaptation of it, and it was quite good. I'm sure I'll get round to down to George Eliot at some point. And then this is the book that I brought up, where Looking Backward was sort of a counterpoint to it in my 5 English novels video. This is William Morris's News from Nowhere, and this is one of my favourite books, and it's another utopian novel, but this one is much more much more down to earth and, I suppose, agrarian in its approach. Then on into some Gothic fiction. This is Anne Radcliffe's The Mysteries of Udolpho. I think it's fun. I keep recommending it to people and they hate it, but I still think it's fun, even if it's a little preposterous. And then staying in that Gothic state of mind, we have The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole, which again is a little ridiculous but lots of fun. And then, just a little while ago, me saying it would be nice to have a little more Oscar Wilde lying around. We've got the Picture of Dorian Gray, which I quite enjoyed the last time I read, I think, but it's been a while and I've forgotten a fair bit about it. I put it in the same bunch, I put it in a group with books like The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and stuff like that, where I must have, with them being quite short, I kind of raced through them, and now I can't really remember that much, so it'd be nice to go back to them and give them some more time. And then another one I'd like to get to, but it's got a very fun cover. This is Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days, featuring Wallace and Gromit. And I've read Journey to the Centre of the Earth, which I thought was okay. I don't know whether it was the translation or what, but there was something just not quite clicking for me with Journey to the Centre of the Earth, but I've got Around the World in 80 Days and some more Jules Verne sort of scattered around. So I'm willing to give them another chance. But there we go. I'll leave the tour for now. I probably won't pick up where I left off and carry on with this shelf. I think I'll go over to another bookcase for a bit, and with where I am now, it's easy for me to remember where I've stopped on this bookcase, so I should be able to pick up where I left off whenever I get back to this bookcase. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found some things that you thought were at least a little interesting. But yeah, feel free to let me know what you thought or give any recommendations, or for those authors I didn't know too much about, feel free to fill me in. But for now, that's everything. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again. Bye.